Well, good Taco Tuesday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. How's everybody doing on this Taco Tuesday? It is great to wake up knowing that this is Eagles, Cowboys, hate week. And maybe I need to come up with something like that because hate is too strong of a word. How about we'll work on that, okay? Because I'm not trying to hate Philly 500. I'm just trying to get a victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. And this week is the week. Philly 500 has issued a bet that he wants to do. I'm mulling over because it's kind of crazy. He's saying he'll wear a CeeDee Lamb jersey and do a video a day for a week, praising the Cowboys if the Cowboys win. But if the Cowboys lose, I have to get a Jalen Hurts hat from Lord Brunson and wear that along with sing happy birthday to Jerry Jones, who he says is 980 years old, and the next day he'll be 981 or something like that. But I'm kind of like, wait a minute. You're putting extra on me. You're putting extra on me. Wait, you only have to do a video praising the Cowboys once a day. I got to do a video praising the Eagles and do singing happy birthday to Jerry Jones. Does that seem equal? So I've got to figure out what's going to make that equal both ways. I'm glad that he has got beyond the shaving your head bets and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm too old to do that. I'm 57 years old. And I'm glad that this has not become the personal attack thing, because we got enough hate out there in the world that we do not need to go through and, deal with people's family and their jobs and stuff like that. Let's deal with the teams. There's enough stuff in there to talk trash about. So I'll respond to Philly 500 here soon. I will respond to him soon. But news on the Cowboys, stuff that we really care about. We don't care about the Eagles. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was on the fan this morning because, Jerry Jones gets up early. And he said the latest on Dak Prescott, he's got to really be able to spin the ball. We'll be working Wednesday on that really hard. Prescott can play, but can he spin that ball? Jones says, we'll find out more tomorrow, so stay tuned. He's got to spin that ball. Can he spin that ball? He can play, but he's got to spin that ball. My personal thinking is the Cowboys are going to play that up throughout that he's going to play to make the Eagles have to game plan for him as well as for Cooper Rush. That's gamesmanship. But I don't think that Prescott is going to play this weekend. I think, wasn't it last year with the calf injury, it was basically up until the game time that we thought that Dak was going to play against Minnesota? I think that's what they were doing. I got to go back and find that out, but I think that's what they did last year. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me. And making more work for the Eagles, I've got no problem with that whatsoever. One thing, actually, I've got this set up too soon here. One thing that's getting interesting is Micah Parsons, okay? Micah Parsons here is truly calling out the NFL because of officiating. I'm wondering if he's going to get a call from Manhattan because you don't go ahead and, fighting City Hall is a problem. And we found out this with Jerry Jones and the Zeke Elliott situation. Because for me, I believe that when Jerry Jones went to the mat trying to help keep Zeke Elliott on the field, that when he started talking about Roger Goodell's job security, that, hold on before we go ahead and redo his contract, and he wanted to put Bill Polian in as the commissioner. And when the NFL came back at him and said, you're going to pay X millions of dollars for the legal fees, and Jerry Jones was like, you know what, I got the best legal team in the world. We going to fight this. And he went to New York. And I dare say that he came back with his tail between his legs. Jerry Jones paid that fine. And that's the only time that I can ever think that Jerry Jones backed down on anything. And if they made Jerry Jones back down, regardless of Micah Parsons being the Defensive Player of the Year rookie and the leading one for Defensive Player of the Year, you don't call out the NFL. But yesterday, he ended up posting a picture of himself being held like crazy and said, "You protect the quarterbacks, but what about me?" And, last night he followed it up about 9:30. The NFL is terrible. Change the rules or just make it a 7-on-7 league. So I don't know what's going to become of that. But again, the NFL does not like bad publicity, especially from their employees. So I would say, Micah Parsons, tread lightly. Tread lightly. Now, I am old enough to remember. I want to stroll down vintage content because I'm old enough to remember this.
It's like Glass Joe fighting Mike Tyson, man. It's not going to go how they think it's going to go. I mean, when you think about it, the team was in trouble with Dak Prescott. So now you want to tell me that a backup that's limited as far as his experience and he has no weapons, no protection, and Ezekiel Elliott is a shell of itself and they're going to be able to win against the Cincinnati Bengals? It's no way. It's no way. This team is in trouble. Mike McCarthy's job is in trouble. And listen, it's no path in which they can improve the position. And even if they improve the position, they can't improve their entire right offensive line is in Cincinnati, right? You talk about Tyron Smith, they're in trouble, man. And it's
their whole entire right.
And even when he comes back, you know what you do when you see somebody's thumb messed up. Mm-hmm. They're gonna whack at that thing and break that thing as much as they can, and he's gonna be job security.
I've seen quarterbacks come back from injuries and all that kind of stuff. All right, D. Wood, let's get a nice tight shot on D. Wood. Give me D. Wood. I'm going to let you be the arbiter of this thing here because you're a sensible man. I know you to be sensible. I know you heard my argument. Mm-hmm. Which way do we go on the Cowboys season from this point forward?
Gladiator.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Greeny. Anyone who watched that game against Tampa Bay, even with Dak Prescott on the field, they didn't look good.
The Bucs are a great defense. They're going to make a lot of teams look like that.
Greeny, I understand that. But I had my doubts about the Dallas Cowboys coming into the season. No Amari Cooper, no Cedric Wilson, offensive line aging not as well. Zeke Elliott, a shell of himself. Hey, Jerry Jones talked about Zeke Elliott. Where is he? Where is he? He's on the back of a milk carton. He's supposed to be eating and doing Zeke, Zeke is going to eat and all that stuff. Where's he eating at? I'm hungry over here. Where's he eating?
Your breakfast wasn't big enough.
Think about this. The first game after Dak came back from a massive injury.
Yeah.
Playing Tampa, he looked completely different. The team, 1 year apart, looks completely different.
You're talking about last
year to this year.
Yes.
When they played Tampa, week 1, everyone was so shocked to see how well Dak played after a massive injury. He had a full offseason. Everyone talked about, he's going to be healthy. He had a full offseason. He's ready to go. But everything around him wasn't ready to go. The offensive line isn't up to par. The receiving core isn't up to par. You have, Pollard. Yes, he's an explosive running back. I like him. Zeke doesn't look like he has that explosiveness to get up through the gap. There was a play, it was a cutback where I said, wow, it's right there. And he didn't have that burst to get up the field. He got tackled. It was like a 2-yard gain. So, again, I think that when you look at the totality of this team, they have a defense, they got a quarterback, and it takes the whole team to win.
So when you take the quarterback away, I get it. I understand. Here's what I will say. If they are really bad this year, then Dak wouldn't have been able to save them. I will not accept that Dak was going to be able to carry. If they're as bad as everyone at this table is making them out to sound, and maybe you're right and I'm wrong, then Dak wasn't going to be enough to save them. They were going to be bad anyway.
They had $12 million. They had $12 million still left in the salary cap. Von Miller wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy, and they said no, thank you. And they decided to go with Dante Fowler. Good luck with that. Those type of decisions will get guys fired.
And maybe he winds up there. We'll see. They might have had a little more pressure on. Thank you for watching ESPN.
Interesting. Interesting. That was just, guys, it was just 4 weeks ago. They said we were dead in the water, how stupid we were, that we didn't sign Von Miller. They said we got Dante Fowler instead. Well, we got Dante Fowler on the cheap. I think Dante's got, does he have three sacks? Okay. All right. Let's go to a little bit more current.
3 days of normal.
I said it was over. G had to talk me off the ledge. He was telling me it's going to be okay, big fella. He been texting me during these wins, talking about, hey, I told you, because y'all know G like to be right. And when he wrong, he does not say anything like he has been either. Here's the thing, man. I love the matchup because of defense and offense. Like, let's be honest about what we're excited about. When you look at what Dallas has been doing defensively, I believe this is the most dominant unit in football right now. Dallas's defense is the most dominant unit in football. And when you look at the way that they play and the way that Philly runs offense is about space. It's about getting playmakers the ball, taking those deep shots. So you got Diggs who going to probably be on AJ. Or they gonna switch it up. You got a pass rush against one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. You got the RPO game with Jalen and Miles Sanders. You got linebackers that run side to side. You got safeties for Dallas that come down and hit. This is the type of matchup that you want to see in the NFL with two really good teams, but two teams that have units that are absolutely dominant at what they do and top tier. And I can't wait to play it, because if they win, y'all, I'm telling you, buckle your tail up for next week. Buckle up if they win this game. And Lord, don't let it be Cooper Rush, because you think Dominique preaching right now. Wait till next Tuesday if Dallas get this done.
So the original construct of this conversation was that after the Michael Irvin sound, I would turn to Dan Graziano and say, so what are the chances Dak Prescott plays this week?
I'm glad I was not asked to follow the Michael Irvin sound. Look, there's a chance, but it all depends on how his thumb and his hand get through this week. If he can grip the ball and throw it and put in 3 days of normal practice, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, then I think they would play him. But he couldn't do that last week. They were kind of hopeful that he might be able to do more last week than he did. So add all that up, and, you know, if I were a betting man, which I am definitely not, I would think it's more likely that Cooper Rush gets another start.
Jeff?
Yeah, ain't no way Dak's playing. There's no chance he's playing.
Are you a betting man?
Yeah, I am a betting man. I would not. I would bet Rush is going to be the starter. I mean, you don't want to subject Dak to the potential of re-injuring this thumb where this football team is sitting. And let me just tell you, if he does come back, I don't think it gives you that much better of a chance of winning this game other than Cooper Rush. Here's the formula for the Cowboys to win. Same way they won last week. Block a punt. Sack fumble for a touchdown, right? No turnovers. Right. You only got 100 yards, but everybody's anointing you to take Dak's job, which we all think is ridiculous. That is how you're going to beat them. And then to Swagu's point, you play defense and you force Jalen Hurts to beat you from the pocket. You have a front four that can rush, and again, it's going to be a heck of a matchup. I'm all fired up for it. But you can, Dan Quinn can mix in some blitzing. But at the end of the day, your front four has to be better than the Eagles' front five. Put pressure and then go get.
You didn't even mention run the ball.
Yeah. All right. So the Cowboys get ready to take on the Eagles. You know, they keep saying that the Eagles' offense is dominant. Okay. I'm not understanding this. The Eagles' offense is dominant the first half of games. But it seems like the Eagles have a tendency to kind of run out of gas going into the second half. But they've gotten enough of a lead early on. Maybe it's just that they get bored, and it's like, Kansas City, for example. Kansas City usually is bad in the first half, but in the second half, they always come back and beat you. Because you looked at last night, you were like, man, the Raiders are on point. Here it is, Crosby's getting 2 sacks in the first half on Pat Mahomes, and they're looking like ass. Come the second half, they go out there and really play. Now, for the Eagles, they did score 38 points against the Lions. I'll give you that. But as I'm going through, they talk about this dominant offense. I think about what Peyton Manning used to do with the Colts. Now, they didn't always win because their defense wasn't there. But I look at that offense and say that that's a dominant offense. That's an offense that could score at will. I'd look at some of the offenses with Tom Brady in New England. Of course, they still had a great defense and they were winning Super Bowls. I think of those offenses being dominant, okay? I'm not sure that I feel like beating the Vikings 24-7, only scoring 24 points against the Commanders, because we scored almost that with our backup quarterback. Our backup quarterback, understand it, guys. Backup quarterback. I think about them only scoring 29 against the Jaguars. I think them only scoring 20 points against the Cardinals. Now, I don't, in any stretch of the imagination, think that any of those teams that they faced, are anywhere near on the level of the defense that we have. I just don't think that's the case. Their defense is really good, but I'm thinking, this is my personal opinion, I think the Eagles' offense is a little overrated. Yeah, it's great that you scored 35 on the Lions, a one-win team, okay? Everybody's scoring on the Lions. But you're going to tell me that only scoring 24, if you are a dominant offense against Commanders, didn't we score like 44 on them last year, or was it 54? That to me is dominating. 24, that's it? 24? Cardinals, you only scored 20? We'll see what happens. But I, for one, think the Eagles may be a little bit overrated. Change my mind. I'm Mark Holmes, and it's going to be a fun week. I will see you guys, because I do a lot of videos and things, later. Peace out.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is